Well, hello there, and welcome to my little arty corner of the internet. It's Wednesday, it's the 27th of October, and it's still 2021. And that means that it's time for another colouring template, colouring page for the Facebook group, Angela Porter's Colouring Book Fans. And this week I asked them what they would like. I gave them some options, and what we got back overwhelmingly was a mandala, Halloween themed, and a couple of other bits and bobs. So I've tried to incorporate these bits and bobs. Thing with a mandala is that when I draw, I'm aware that I have to make things big enough for people to colour, which means I don't cram as much stuff into the colouring pages as I would do in my personal artwork. But as it's a mandala, it's drawn digitally, because it saves me a lot of fuss and time. And besides that, I like drawing mandalas digitally. The only time I do digital drawing otherwise is when I take a sketch and draw from that sketch a final version of the artwork, or close to final version. So this week, this is the mandala. This is the Halloween one. And I've got cats in. Somebody asked for cats. I've got bats because they rhyme with cats. What's Halloween without a bat or two? I've got some tombstones. I've got a potion bottle. I've got pumpkins aplenty. Drunken skulls, not party skulls this week. No party hats on the skulls this week, but we've got drunken skulls. Bones and stars and moons, and a gothic window kind of motif in the middle. And arches and so on with patterns in. So plenty of stuff to colour in here. And I'll be adding colour to mine digitally, not like this. So it's a bit of a different one this week. No drawing, because you'd either see a lot of zooming in and out and twisting and turning around and erasing and redrawing and erasing and redrawing, because I just can't get my head around editing. It takes me so long to do, and I get in a right state of confusion, and I just don't. It's all like, it is what it is. So there's that. So what I thought I'd do, because this is it's a terribly short video. Obviously, you'll get to see my partially coloured version on social media later this day if I can stay awake. And there's a story to that, because it's Wednesday. I have a delivery normally at 5 o'clock in the morning, or thereabouts, and not today. It arrived like 10 minutes ago, so I've put it away, and dear goodness. So I'm shattered. It's official, and I can't go to sleep because I've got another delivery arriving. It's been a third delivery today. And I have to be awake for this one, because I have to have delivery of it. I've got to give a password and everything to accept it. It's a new printer. I've had this laser printer for a number of years, and as brilliant as it has been in some ways, it is a pain in the backside, because it just doesn't like to keep its link to the internet anymore. I found it great for printing. It's not a problem, but I can't print onto specialist papers, and because it's such a pain trying to get it to connect to scan or anything, I thought, right, that's it, it's time for a new printer. And I thought, I need one that's eco-friendly. I want one that has ink that I can use water with, water-based media with, if I'm going to print out my artwork, and or one that I can print on all different kinds of paper as well, and different weights, which I can't do with a laser printer. You've got to use paper that will go through laser printers. So, and it affects the surface of the paper, the heat of the laser printer. So the printer, the toner cartridge is just about empty, and I thought, right, if I'm going to do it, it's now, because I really don't want to spend money on a toner cartridge when I'm getting a new printer. So I'm having a Epson Eco Tank coming, which comes with tons of ink. You don't buy ink cartridges, you buy bottles of ink to refill it. because the print heads are permanently in the machine. And it's also got settings that it doesn't use as much power to print and what have you. So that means there's a lot less wastage with them, which is brilliant. Got really good reviews. I mean, not perfect because you can't please everybody. But I've had Epsons in the past and they've worked well. I've had Brothers in the past and they work well. The laser printer's a Brother. But I decided to go with the Epson because of the eco-tank system. And it makes refilling them far more affordable as well, because cartridges are stupidly expensive, because you're not just buying the ink, you're buying all the chips and everything else that go with them, and print heads and what have you. So crazy. Anyway, so I need to be awake for that, and I'll see what happens after that. I could just crash and go to sleep for a while, but just show you today's. I don't want you to think you haven't seen much in the way of artwork. I've been flashing this about. This is today's Zentangle pattern for Inktober Tangles. Day 27, so there's only 28, 29, 30. There's only 4 days left to go. 4 days. And I'm already thinking, oh, what do I do after this? Well, I'm going to have to challenge myself, or perhaps there'll be other challenges that come up that I can do. Things to make me work a bit differently. And perhaps Saturday by Saturday I'll get all of the days done, and then with my sketchbook Saturday I'll have a retrospective on Inktober, perhaps. But this pattern's really lovely. It's called Trilina. It's by Eniokun, and this is the first time I've been able to draw it successfully. I've tried before several times in the past and it just doesn't work for me, or hasn't. I'm very visual, but sometimes the drawn step outs that people show just don't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense when I look at what somebody's drawn. I just can't work it out, what's been done. Today though, I watched a video by Zentangle. She's on YouTube and she's got a website and she's fab. She's not the only one, but she's the one I watched today, and what I saw just clicked. And it was really simple. It's all these bits on the top, these hats. The rest of it is not a problem, but it was that I just could not understand how they go on. So I did that, and that's the very first one I drew. Actually, it's different to the original Tangle because the original Tangle would have channels. I don't know what you call them, channels like this, all the way through, whereas I've created it as a ribbon, and I'm sure other people have, because I just thought that'd be really nice, something nice to do or to try out. And of course I've tried lots of things here. What's my favourite one? I love them all. I love this one because I've left those little hats off, and it is very much like a traditional star but woven, and I really like that. This one I like. It's more like a starfish, and the points point in different directions, and I'm fine with that. You know, that works nicely. This one is lovely. It's so big. It's got so many of these patterns, but I tried different ways of adding interest at the bottom, as well as, you know, things like this. And that's really nice, and it looks really textured, is the best way I can describe it. This one I do like, because while I was drawing this, I thought, oh, this process reminds me a bit of Zentangle, because you draw, the first line you draw is this one here, or, you know, one that's shaped like this, and then you work back from it to connect here, and it's like in Zentangle you draw that way and then you come out and you end up with that kind of shape. And so this is my homage to Zentangle. It's a Zentanglina, I suppose. Zentanglina. Triangle. It's best not to go there. I'm running on lack of sleep. Put it that, yeah, you're not going to get much sense. But I'm really happy with this. It makes me smile when I look at it. I mean, I've got other pages that do as well. But when I think of where I started this month, and I will have a very quick flick back to where I started with this, you know, with pages like this, which are really interesting. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I had great fun playing with the patterns, but seeing where, you know, I've ended up, and the way that I draw things and so on. I've gained a better understanding of these kinds of patterns, of Zentangle patterns, I suppose, and different ways of working with light and shadow than perhaps I would ordinarily. So it's been a brilliant experience for me. The problem is now remembering all of this, because I do and I don't, but you know, for me to use coloured pens in my artwork is so unusual, but I really do like that. I do. It works. But they're all really nice for different reasons. What I really like about this as well is the pattern in the background, because all the papers I've been colouring with distress inks, and this one, the latest pages, I've actually been using stencils to add layers of colour and pattern. And in these, you can actually see the pattern coming through them as well. I think it's something called transcending, a technique they call transcending. The videos I've seen, people do it in a different way with pens and washes and so on, and I've just used stencils instead because that suits me. Thing is, the distress inks are always water soluble, and I am tempted to try and get some of the distress archival inks because they're permanent once they dry, and I think that could be interesting because they really would show through. But I got to think about that one. I've had a new printer, so there's that. So that's something else I've done today. And finally, I'll show you this one because this one's nearly finished. And it's one of my sort of like abstracty, entangled, Zentangle, like weird art. Well, it's me. It's very intuitive. I don't sit particularly with a plan. I start with something and I let it grow from there. Sometimes I start with a motif or a shape or a flower or whatever in the centre, or, you know, off to sort of like a third and a third in, often up here or down here, and let it grow. Today, with this one, I say today, I've been working on this for the best part of a week. I started here with this and just let it grow from there. It's grown from here out to this way. As you're looking at it, this is the way I envisage it to be. So I've already put my little initials in there. I've put them in like a little bauble or a bead. It would work anyway, except for the eyes, perhaps, but then that really doesn't matter either because they're not part of the face or anything. Why do eyes appear in my work like this? I have no idea. They just do. They just do. And I'm fine with that. Actually, there's 3. There's another one over here. I've got to decide what to do with this. You know, if I add, you know, here, do I add patterns to some? The chances I'm going to. So I've got something like, you know, this kind of stuff going on. Can see tangle patterns from this week have appeared here. There's that's Zigoli, I think, or you know, that's Zigoli is that's a variation on it. This is a variation of Dex, which was yesterday's pattern. I've got burst there. Oysterroid has appeared. Ew, what's that one called? Oh, do you know what? I can't remember, but that's another one. Here, there's Oops Me. What's this one? Oh, the easiest way to find out is to go to my little book, to my sketchbook, and have a quick squinties at it. Because I can't remember what it's called. It'll come to me eventually. Perhaps. Oh, I need to go forward. I'm looking backwards. Was it before Oysterroid, wasn't it? Do you think I can find it now? Do you think the hell I can? I am going to do a retrospective, I think, of this. No, it's not there. So it's got to be... Oh, there we are. It's Paradisum. Paradisum. So I tried to put some of the patterns in I'm using, as well as old favourites. And perhaps, you know, new shapes or new ways of doing things. So what am I going to do? I just got this area and this area really to sort out, decide what I'm going to do there. That's the hardest bit, because if I start overthinking it, I end up in a right pickle. And then decide whether I colour this, add shadow and highlight to this, or whether I scan it in and do this digitally, which is my sort of inclination, because then I don't mess up the original. But with a new printer, I can scan and print on paper and use traditional media as well, without messing up my original one. So I've got options, lots of options, and we shall see. So I've prattled on for a bit. As I said, I'm going to have a look back on Saturday at my sketchbook for the week. Anything else? Oh, I've been doing some work on the Adorable Dogs book, which is great. It's taking me a while to get into the style of drawing there, because this happens because there can be extended periods of time between one colouring book and the next, and I tend to lose myself in this kind of art, and it's been Zentangle, and then it can be awkward for me to make that switch back to the style of art for colouring books. I know I do a template a week, which helps to keep my hand in, but dogs are such a different theme for me. It's not something I'd normally do. It's a bit of a switch for me, and it's honing in on the kinds of template and what images and so on I can use. So things like that. And yeah, there we are. So I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to say thank you for joining me, and take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you back here again Saturday, if not before. Say Saturday because that's what I'm aiming for, is the next video. So until then, take care. Bye-bye. Bye.